where I'm going to go and finishing it, you know.
What about how that shifts your goals? Because you had a goal that you were moving at a certain pace.
Yeah.
Since we last discussed, we've dramatically increased that pace at which you're moving towards your goals.
Yeah.
Like how's that acceleration felt as you went along?
Sure, it's actually it's surreal. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I said, we left here, looked at the property. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Next day, you rang me up and said, Dave, look at this deal has been put out in front of me. It's hot. You can have first kick on it if you like, you know, if you're interested in it. Otherwise, it'll be going out to other investors. So I just looked at the figures. I said, done the research. I was like, yeah, this is definitely a no-brainer for me. Like, and then with that, I still have the money coming in, whatever, from the rent. And then you're another investor. Like, this is again just because I'm thinking of a more straight line where I was pissing about, more or less, you could say. One of your other clients, they want to sell the property. I'm lucky enough that I have the money there. And now another one that's coming out in front of me, and I'm at 20 already. I was hoping to be there in 4 years' time, but like when you look at this and you look at the speed of how you can get things to move when you're looking in a more direct route, instead of thinking, kind of going from A to B, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. When you can think in a more direct route and say, right, this is what I can do if I keep my mind on this path. Like, it's 2 properties and in 3 months, it's absolutely unbelievable.
So can you explain to people what you mean by you're looking in a more direct line? You were saying that when you were you had this grand plan of getting to 20 properties by the time you're 40. That was 4 years away.
Yeah.
We discussed that in the last podcast. Afterwards, I told you that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That we could actually do that in a matter of months. I'm not really sure you believed me. And then I showed you the mechanics of how it works. Here's the pieces. We need a shift in mindset, which we've discussed, as in the way that you're looking at it is keeping you stuck in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's true of everyone, no matter on anything that they attempt in life. They create resistance, and that resistance gets in the way. So what we're looking to do is explain how you can reduce the resistance in your mind so that things move much more easily and much more quickly. And that's what's happened. And a goal that you had set for 4 years away has now materialized in 3 months. And that acceleration is really, really quick. And it's how do you cope with that acceleration? How do you handle that?
It's really, really bizarre because, as I said, like, what I look at before, I'd be looking at to buy a property for 30 grand, right? 30, 40,000. Spend 20 on it, spend 30 on it, get it all done up, get it looking nice, and get up in the market. That's all good, but downtime. You're trying to organise guys to get in to get it done, get furniture organised, get all the bits and pieces, and look, you'll have it going in like 3 months or 4 months, you know, if everything moves pretty swiftly, like, you know, because not alone that, obviously the money I have to make at home, I need to send that over here to pay for the work that I'm getting done. So, you know, I can't do it at the same speed as maybe getting it done within 3 months. But so what's happening there is you're missing out on all this money. And like, this wasn't until like literally pen to paper up on the spreadsheet where you're like, if you buy a place that you only have to spend 10 grand on, the 10 grand will say 7 grand in furnishings, 3 grand in a slight refurb, maybe a bit of paint, a bit of laminate flooring. Instead of waiting 3 or 4 months for you to make money, you can actually start making money within weeks instead of months. So that was a massive, massive thing by doing it that way, because at least I could see, right, hang on now, if instead of me losing out, I'm going to just go by an example on the Airbnb that I have out in Dumbarton, like, would say, where that made £1,921 last month, okay? So, like, if you miss, we'll say £1,500, and if you miss 3 months, so that's 4.5 grand. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
you're leaving 4.5 grand on the table.
Yeah,
doing it the old way.
Yeah, doing it the old way. You're losing 4,500 instead of just, and I could be more. That's only like dumbing it down. Like, I could have got 1,900 3 months in a row. Do you get me? Like, that's just dumbing it down and saying, right, call it worst case scenario and getting 1,500 quid. So, like, that is money that you're losing by thinking that you're saving money. And it goes back to the saying that people have, you know, was it a penny wise and a pound foolish, where you're watching the pennies, but the pound is getting away from you. And I think that was where I was stuck, you know, before, like, where I was just concentrating on the same. That's why you were getting all the same criteria stuff, where it was just like cheap properties. Obviously, you get a good return. It's not that it's a bad idea, but it's just there's definitely more better ways of doing it when you actually know and study the proper route. Like,
well, this is an example. I mean, if you compare some of the properties that you've bought versus the one that we went out to yesterday in Balloch,
yeah,
I mean, in terms of, it's not a significant financial amount. In terms of, you're talking the difference between paying, 45 or 65. That £20,000 is a lot of money, but in the scale of property purchases, it's not that dramatic, because you could buy a £45,000 property and put a £25,000-30,000 refurb on it. But when you look at what you were able to get in Balloch, I was able to find you something. I'm like, right, look, for not a huge jump in terms of the amount that you need to pay, you're getting a significantly more attractive property. And that was where the shift was really starting to go, oh. So rather than we buy two sort of run down, rough, sort of, they need a bit of a tender love and care. They need a hand. They need a bucket of love that may or may not attract the right type of person that may or may not look after it. You can move up the market for not a lot more money, but get a lot more of a result in terms of cash flow.
Oh, definitely. Like, because even like Balloch, back in Galway, is a little town called Clifton, and Balloch when I went out there and actually seen the layout of the town and everything like that, that's what it puts you in the mind of. It puts you in the mind of Clifton, and they get a massive, like, even in the summers there, like, there'd be tailbacks going into Galway, like where they go into little bottleneck towns and all that, like, and it just shows the volume of people going there. Like, even when we went down yesterday to look at him, we just drove around the kind of route where you could walk around. I even seen an Irish car, like, where it even shows that there's people from Wexford. There was a brand new car from Wexford, like, that was there. It just shows that people are actually travelling to this area from Ireland to even see the little town, the layout of it, and it's unbelievable to see it. Like, it's a breathtaking town.